What's good, YouTube? In this video I'm going to be taking you guys through my like checklist type of thing, what I look for when I first come to the market. So I only trade New York sessions, so I'm just going to be taking you guys through like everything I look for, like as soon as I sit down till I'm finished trading, just what I look for and what I do when I get to the market. The first thing that I do when I'm getting to the charts, as soon as I'm hopping on the charts, is I look at Forex Factory to look where news is. So on Monday there is no news today, which is a nice thing, but some days there is going to be news. Not every day is not going to have news, so you just got to look where news is and trade around it, because I do not trade news unless my setup is in confluence with the news, but I don't recommend trading news. The next thing then I look for is where yesterday's highs and lows are. So I have an indicator here that shows me exactly where the highs and lows are. There's yesterday's high, which is on Friday, and yesterday's low, which is right there. And then I just keep those in mind because those do give an indication where the market might come and sweep. It might come sweep yesterday's high and low, or it's just going to trade in between. The market's going to play in between them. So that is just a good indication that I do look out for first. The next thing that I look out for is what did Asia and London session do. So Asia session starts somewhere around here, 12 o'clock at midnight, and then all it did was push up, moving into London session, also just pushed up. New York loves to do reversals or the opposite of what London session did and Asia session. So looking at it now, Asia and London both pushed up. New York comes and we start pushing down. New York loves to do reversals. It happens all the time. Some days it's not going to happen. Some days it might consolidate New York session. Some days it might be just a continuation of London session. But I always look at that. That is a very good indication to look at in like kind of knowing what the day might bring. But today is a perfect example. London pushed up, New York's pushing down. And then I caught a setup right here, sell, and then I took that. So that is a good indication. Then the next thing I do is I look at the higher time frame. So I'm just going to move this out the way. On the 15 minute, let's go here, 15 minute. So the 15 minute is consolidating. It has been consolidating a bit, like it is consolidating between here. There's no proper trend. It's just going up and down, up and down. But then overall, it is bullish. If you zoom out, we've been bullish for a while. Yeah, we've been bullish. Then after the 15 minute, I go to the 1 hour. 1 hour is also consolidating a bit right here, but not really. Yeah, it is consolidating a bit, but overall, we zoom out, it has been bullish on the 1 hour. I also look at the 4 hour, but I don't really pay too much attention at the 4 hour. I just take a glimpse at it and just see what is happening on it. It is bullish on the 4 hour, but then I go back to the 5 minutes. After looking at the higher time frames, I look where liquidity is at. So just looking at today, when I hopped on, we have liquidity above there. We have liquidity down here. We have liquidity at yesterday's high and low right there, yesterday's low, and then liquidity sitting above yesterday's high. So those do need to eventually get swept, but they're not going to get swept during when I trade all the time. But it is a good thing to look at if yesterday's high and low do get swept, because then market could just do the opposite of what it did. If it's at the high, if the market sweeps the high, it could drop. If it sweeps the low, it could push up. So it is a good thing just to know where liquidity is at. Then the next thing I do is I look where gaps are. So on the setup I took, it was a counter trend setup. I'm going to break it down just now, and there's a live trading video of it. Well, it's going to be part of this video, but a live trading part. So I always look where gaps are at. So right here we have gaps here. Well, we got gaps right there, gaps here, gaps here, gaps here, and we have gaps down here. So there's also a good thing to look at and know where gaps are, because the market, it has to fill in the gaps eventually. We don't know when it's going to happen, but the market does have to fill in the gaps. So knowing where the gaps are, we can kind of not predict, but we can look for trades to go and fill in those gaps and hold for maximum potential of your trade. So then I look at the gaps on the 5 minute, and I look at gaps on the 15-minute. Gaps on the 15-minute on today was really nice to the downside. There's gaps right here, here, and gaps down here. These all need to be filled, but we don't know when they're going to get filled. Then there's also gaps on the 1 hour right here. But going back to the 5 minutes, so my trade that I took was just to come and fill in the gaps down here, which I'm going to break down just now. The next thing that I do is I mark up my 5-minute supply and demand, my 15-minute supply and demand, and my 1 hour supply and demands. I don't keep them on the chart, but I just look at where they are and try and remember where they are. So I hopped on today. We have a counter trend supply there. We have a 5-minute supply here with breakage structure. Broke that high there. This 5-minute supply didn't really have a breaker structure, and then we had a 15-minute supply down here. So I just keep those in mind, and if the market gets them, I do try and look for a trade. And then I also mark up my support and resistance, which would be resistance up here, and then we'd have a support down here if the market does get to them. I do all these things also on every chart that I have. So I do it on NAS, GU, and GJ. I just do the exact same things to see what is happening for the day. Then the last thing I look at is where the EMAs are at. So I don't like trading counter trend, but today this counter trend setup just made sense. We are above the 200 EMA, means we are bullish on the 5 minutes. But we had so many gaps to get filled and London pushed up. So today was a really nice example of London pushes up, New York does a reversal, which is a nice thing, and we just came to fill in the gaps, which was also a great thing. And the setup that I took was also really clean. I just don't like trading counter trend. Supply and demand doesn't really work the best with counter trend, but the setup did win. So the last thing I do look at is just where the EMAs are at, and sometimes I'll take trades that don't have that aren't in confluence with the EMAs, but I do end up losing most on those. But yeah, that's pretty much just the 8 things I look at every single day when I hop onto the charts and when I'm trading New York session. I got into a NAS counter trend supply. I don't really get into counter trend setups like this, but this one does make sense because we have a lot of gaps below that need to be filled. Like there's so many, and we're rejecting nicely outside of the supply. So this does make sense to get into, but I'm not going to hold it if it looks like an O. If it like starts pushing up here, I'm going to close and just get out. But this looks good.
A few moments later.
NAS is pushing down with a lot of momentum now. We are getting close to TP. Original break of the entry candle won there. It got TP hit already. But I'm trying to hold till like this liquidity here because I got like a lot of confidence that we are gonna grab this liquidity here and maybe keep pushing down. But I'm just trying to get like a little bit over 1-to-1 and then dip. And there we're about to hit TP. It's literally touching it. There we go. We hit TP. I got a little bit over 1-to-1. You can quickly check now. I got like 1-to-1.2, something like that. But yeah, it was pretty clean setup. It is a counter trend setup, so not something I usually take, but the rejection from the zone and look at the momentum pushing down now. It's probably in all these gaps here, but I think I'm good. It's a Monday, so I'm chilling with this trade. But yeah, I'm going to put how much I made on the screen now. Did take it on my live account and my 5K account that I'm trading on. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. It was a pretty clean day. This trade went for 1-to-2 and then the demand won. But make sure you guys subscribe, like, join my free Discord, and I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Make sure you just keep grinding, keep getting to the next level, and I'm out.